prepared a selection of questions, and they're going to intermingle your audience questions as a part of that. However, we are on a tight timeline. We only have an hour together this evening, and so it's likely that we will not get to your question. It's possible. If that is the case, we do have coffee and cookies for you. We encourage our candidates to go outside after in this little area, and they will mingle with you and talk with you about your questions. So if we don't get your question tonight, know that we've got some time after the event as well. Okay, so the structure for tonight is as follows. The candidates flipped a coin, and Representative Lang will go first for opening statements. Kathy Wyenandt will do the first question.
Kathy won the coin flip.
Oh, George.
She goes first.
A list of things.
It's okay.
And then I talked a little bit about the note cards. Okay, all right, so we'll run to 8 o'clock. The other thing I wanted to mention right before we get to it is that we ask that due to the taping, so we do have several tapings here, we ask that you don't respond to candidates' comments or answers. So we want to kind of keep the room quiet so that the audio is able to pick up for the taping. Yes. Oh yes, and if you can turn your cell phones off on silent, that would be great. Wonderful. Okay, I'll turn it over for opening statements. Yep.
You want to
Well, thank you for having us here tonight. It is great to be here with you. My name is Kathy Wyenandt. My husband Jim and I live in Liberty Township with our 4 beautiful children, Abra, who is 20, Kaden is 14, Emerson is 10, and Reese is 8. We also have 2 very energetic golden doodles, Ollie and Maple. I left the corporate world when we had our 3rd child to spend more time at home and to work in the community. I spent many years as a parent volunteer in the Lakota schools and also in local politics. Like many of you, I have watched through the years as our government has ignored the needs of Ohio's families and instead catered to lobbyists and special interests. Look, we live in a relatively prosperous area here, but families still worry about how to pay for childcare and save for college, how to save for retirement and pay for health insurance. Many double-income families are just one job loss or one health care problem away from major crisis. That's a big load to bear. Our politicians take our taxpayer dollars and give us a little in return. I'm going to Columbus because the good old boy brand of politics as usual isn't working anymore.
Business development. And given the business growth in Westchester and Liberty Townships, what is your strategy for developing future business and addressing the increasing growth in our region?
I'm glad you asked that question. And make no mistake about it, Westchester is the economic envy of the state of Ohio. What we have done in Westchester, leaders from communities all over the state meet with me and ask me how you did do it. This was not an accident. It was not an accident. The heart and soul of what happened in Westchester is the same heart and soul that's going to drive Ohio, the same heart and soul that's going to drive America. It's small businesses. Small businesses are the heart and soul of our community. With that in mind, I have launched a Business First Caucus in Ohio. Our goal is to make Ohio the most business-friendly state in the nation. And right now, we're a long way from that, but we used to be. We used to be the land of innovation, the land of manufacturing, the land of flight. Think of the Wright brothers. But in 1970, we implement the income tax, along with one negative regulation after another. 1970, we have 24 congressmen. Today, we have 16, going to 15, probably 14 in the next census. So with this Business First Caucus, and I've got about 20 other reps that have signed on for it, our goal is to make Ohio more business friendly. To be that state where business looks at, where am I going to locate? They say Ohio. Why? Because of EBITDA. They can come here and make more money. And why is that important? I see young people here today. I see Trey, RJ, Matt King. The future of America. Ohio has a brain drain. We have amazing schools, but as people graduate, they're going to other states to work. Why? Better economic opportunity elsewhere. Let's be that state that the young people, I see even younger people up there, let's be that state that the young people, when they graduate, from college, not only do they want to stay in Ohio, but let's be that state where they graduate from Indiana or New York, as my daughter just did and came back to Ohio. Let's be that state that students want to gravitate back to.
Thank you, George. Kathy, you're up.
Look, Mr. Lang likes to take credit for Westchester's economic prosperity. You know why Westchester is actually prosperous? Two things: good roads and good schools. The Union Center exit was a vital part of the growth and expansion of the economic opportunities here in the Westchester area. And frankly, that came to fruition years before Mr. Lang was even in office. This district has great schools, partially because of the funding that I fought for in 2013 when Lakota was in deep trouble. Mr. Lang was nowhere to be found. When I get to Columbus, I want to put good roads all around the state of Ohio and make sure that we fix good school funding so that we have good schools all around the state of Ohio, because that is how you increase prosperity and jobs. Look, we're small business owners. My husband and I know what it's like to worry about making payroll so that we can make sure that our employees have food to put on their families' tables as well. You know, it's important that in Ohio we keep taxes down for businesses and that we reduce cumbersome regulations. But it is more than that. Businesses need a vibrant Ohio with good roads and good schools and a culture of innovation. I want to go to Columbus, and I will work with anyone to make Ohio a very business-friendly state and to make it friendly for the employees who work there as well.
Thank you very much.
Can I have a rebuttal?
We can do a 30-second rebuttal. We'll give each a 30-second rebuttal. We're not going to have time for rebuttals for every question.
Perfect, thank you. You know, Kathy says I'm not responsible for the success here. She's right. No politician is responsible for the success. You can give me credit for the amazing roads, the way we've managed the money, but the credit for the success of Westchester, as well as any community that's thriving, goes to the businesses and the developers and the residents that choose that place to grow. Look, it's the business and developers that invest their own time, their own talent, their own treasure to make their community better. She's right, I don't deserve the credit. These people deserve the credit. Give me the credit for creating an environment where they can excel.
Thanks, George. Kathy, do you have a 30-second rebuttal?
I can.
All right, go down the line.
All right, great. So, as our state representative, what are some key projects that you feel you would seek to get state money with the capital budget? We've had a lot of success with the capital budget over the years. So, Ms. Wyenandt, you are first.
You know, as Mr. Lang mentioned, Westchester was once again named one of Money Magazine's top 50 places to live in the United States. And that's really amazing. This is a great community. You know, if you read in the article, the number one reason why this community is so great is because of the great schools. People want to live in communities that have the best schools. And when businesses look to move here, the number one question they ask, how are the schools? In 2013, I had to work on the Lakota levy to help save our school district with some very good people who are in the room tonight. We were losing our best teachers and our principals, and our school was in danger of losing the high-quality education that we offer. You know, as I said, Trustee Lang didn't do anything to help, but I did. I supported that levy in 2013 because our broken school funding system puts the burden on local taxpayers. That's wrong. And if we don't do something, the same thing is going to happen again and again. I don't like levies. I want to go to Columbus to fix our broken school funding system and to provide property tax relief. That is my number one goal. I need your vote so I can go to Columbus and fix the system.
Thank you, that wasn't the question Mike asked. Mike, let me answer your question. In the last capital budget, my priorities were education. I brought hundreds of $1,000s back for Butler Tech and Miami University. I can't take all the credit, other Butler County reps and our senator helped, but I was part of the effort to lead education. Going forward in the next biennial biannual budget, my focus on the capital bill, in addition to be education, is going to be the Voice of America Museum. For those of you that don't know about it, we inherited this amazing facility from the federal government about 25 years ago. We are trying to make it so that it isn't a tax burden on the residents. Think about these old buildings. Look at Miami, look at the Cincinnati Music Hall or the museum. You know, they just put, I believe, $700 million into these buildings, and in 15 years it won't be enough. That building, the VOA, the museum, is worth saving.
To me, capital budget's a very specific budget.
Well, certainly Mr. Lang would have a little bit more experience than I would with that, but when I get to Columbus, I'll learn all kinds of things about the capital budget. I will tell you that I think one of the things that we need to do is to invest in infrastructure, local infrastructure, and specifically broadband, and expanding that into more rural parts of the state so that we can bring more small business development into even the rural parts of the state.
All right, thank you very much.
Forgot who goes first this time.
Thank you, Mark.
I lose track.
Make it a softball.
I want to kind of flip it a little bit. You talked about growth. Look, citizens also concerned with rapid growth and how quickly this place has changed. And I mean, in the last 20 years, it's pretty obvious the difference. How do you support managing and sustaining that growth over a long period of time? How do we make sure we aren't just exploding along the I-75 corridor, but building long-term sustainable business that'll be here 15, 20 for these kids, as you mentioned?
Yeah, the key to that is as you spread your infrastructure, so the growth and development will follow it. Kathy spoke about broadband expansion. I was very glad to not only sponsor, but to vote for two bills that recently passed. One was House Bill 478, which empowered small stem cell towers so we can get broadband to more communities in Ohio. And the other one, I forget the House bill number, but it's the last mile work that we're doing with broadband. And the concept of that, as you get into more rural communities, these communities don't have the money, the businesses can't afford to step up to spread broadband all the way out. We say that last mile, in some communities it may be the last 25 miles. So we as a government said, hey, this makes sense for us to step forward and help these communities develop that infrastructure so that they too can flourish and prosper as communities that are close to the infrastructure do. You know, if you think about it, 200 years ago, if you wanted to flourish, you had to be close to a river. Right? That's why Cincinnati did well. Then all of a sudden, 50 years ago, it was the interstate. Thank God for the work that the federal government did on that. And I believe the future infrastructure is going to be broadband and helping everybody to have access to that. And I'm proud to have worked on legislation in the state to get that done. Thanks, Mark.
Look, I will say one of the most important things that we can do to help manage our regional growth would be to expand public transit in Ohio. We are strategically positioned here in this area, right along I-75, right in the Cincinnati-Dayton corridor. It is the area where our growth is expanding and booming in a big way. And you know what? We are passed over by major businesses throughout the United States who could look to come here because we do not have appropriate public transit to get people to work. I am fortunate to represent Butler County on the Southwest Ohio Regional Transit Authority Board just since February, so I had a lot to learn there. And I will tell you that I've been surprised to learn just how drastically Ohio underfunds regional transit and public transit. You know, we don't need to talk about burdening taxpayers, but I'll tell you what, if we can partner with our businesses, partner with our stakeholders, and figure out what the best way would be to get people around the region so that we can strategically grow and manage our growth, that would be a good thing. You know, I talk about people over politics. I think it's really important to work with stakeholders and people that have a dog in the fight, so to say, and to not worry so much about what your political party might say or your special interests or your donors, but actually get out there and to talk to the people who have a vested interest in the region and in bringing jobs here. And I think you'll hear from a lot of folks that public transit is critical.